If you're looking for a behind-the-scenes insight into music, you've come to the right place. Remember to subscribe to be notified of new content.
Many have said that music has healing properties. Well, in 2020, we have faced a 1 in 100 year event with the COVID-19 pandemic, and music is one element that has helped carry us through. But this pandemic has changed our life in so many ways, especially so for Australian singer-songwriters who were once accustomed to performing their music in a live setting. Join me as I unearth what goes on behind the scenes during these COVID times across the Australian music scene.
This is Behind the Music with Ellie D.
Hey, what's up, Ellie D? My name's Jerome Williams, and I'm a musician from the Northern Rivers in New South Wales. I think predominantly for me, everything stylistically always comes back to the guitar, because my favourite thing to do musically is to bash guitar in the hopes that it sounds pretty. In terms of genre though, I've always tried to maintain a philosophy of musical globalism, I suppose. Mainly just because it's so easy to cherry pick elements of different genres and incorporate them into your own style. Growing up, it was always the guitar-oriented genres, so jazz and metal, roots, blues, rock. Because, you always want to start playing guitar. It's like, I want to play screaming guitar solos. So nowadays, in my adultness, it's definitely more, I lean more towards, I guess, soul, neo-soul, roots, funk, and hip-hop, R&B. But that being said, it's like, the style that I try to achieve, I guess, is an amalgamation of all the aforementioned. Because it's music, I guess, is fun, a genre. I don't know. I guess I just try to keep my finger in as many proverbial musical genre pies as possible. Have like a blueberry hip hop and a curried blues and veg, because they all taste really good. I think it was in one part family and another part John Butler. Because I was born into a very musical family. My mother, my father, and my uncle are all really accomplished players. So I grew up around my mum gigging and constantly learning songs for gigs. So I was introduced to a plethora of different styles of music, which I think is where a lot of my confusion as to my genre identity strings from. But I think I didn't really develop a passion for music until I heard the solo on Zebra by John Butler, and that was my light bulb moment. That was like, I want to do that. Because prior to that, like I played guitar in primary school, and then sort of put it down, took it back up. I could play like maybe one or two Beatles riffs. I never learned a full song in my life at that point. But yeah, so I after I heard that solo, it's like I went home, dusted my instrument off, and started practicing for many hours a day. I think everything around me sort of faded to grey, much to the detriment of my academic records at the time. But it was fun, and I think the passion for music got cemented when I got a copy of John Butler's Live at St Gallen Special Edition, and it was a 3-disc album, and the 3rd disc had a DVD on it of the live performance of the gig. But it also had a live performance of Ocean on it, and that song hit me like a truck. I had no idea music could be experienced on that level, especially music without words. It's like, this was the quintessential example of art to me, because how do you convey that level of passion without saying anything? So yeah, I think that's when I sort of was inspired to be a musician. And then I don't know, everything sort of just fell into place, because it turned out that my mum had a Maiden 12-string under her bed, which she gifted to me probably 3 months after I saw that DVD for my 15th birthday. So after that, it was just all downhill from there, and music's been my life ever since. It's a hard one. So I think that when you first start your musical journey, especially as a guitarist, the expectation is you want to be a rock star. And then you grow up, you know, when you mature, you step into being an adult, and you still want to be a rock star. So, I mean, I'll wear that one proudly. Like, I still want to be a rock star. That's my expectation. But I think, like, the main expectation that nobody tells you is that this will take hours. This will take countless hours of practice and dedication and passion and this unrivaled love for your craft, because this isn't something that it's like, you know, you can stop doing, you know, when you're not working. You know, it's like, it's something that you live with. You wake up with it, you go to sleep with it, you eat with it, you drink with it, it's just ever present in your life. So coupled with the reality, which is, I think in anybody's artistic reality, you know, there's always that want for more. You know, you're always striving to achieve that next goal, because as artists, I think internally we're all addicted to the challenge of being creative. But I don't know, I think it's better to not focus on the expectations, and just keep creating. The expectations, I think, should be motivation to achieve the current goal, because it's ever changing. So yeah. So performing live is absolutely everything. It's the reason why I play. It's like, there is no greater feeling on the planet than being in front of a live audience, and, you know, you're singing and dancing and playing and everybody's joining in. Like, that is why you want to play music. It's a feeling unlike any other, you know. And I think the other side of it is that it's a challenge. You know, this was something that was really ingrained in me when I was busking, is as soon as you step out in front of however many people on whatever your stage might be, you know, it might just be, you know, the side of a curb, you know, out front of a takeaway place, and you know, you're just playing for change, or, you know, you might be on a festival stage, you know, playing your own music to, you know, 1,000 people. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's like, you've been thrown a gauntlet and you have to pick that up. You know, you've got to work for that, you know. And when it works, you know, when it pays off, oh, no greater feeling. It's amazing. That's a hard one, because I think at the moment, you know, most musicians, we're restricted to online connection, you know, because of what's going on. But I think in retrospect, if we look at offline, I think I definitely gravitate towards more offline connection, mainly because, like, music as an immaterial art, I feel, is far more potent when it's experienced in person. That being said, I think online, post-offline, is a really special kind of connection, because it gives you a way to interact with people that normally you wouldn't be able to, you know. So key example being, and this was probably one of the most validating moments in my entire musical journey, I'd finished a gig, and it was a couple of days later, and I got a message from this guy who said that I'd inspired him to pick up guitar, and that was magical to me, because I'd always wanted to do that for someone, because I know what it's like to have that done for me, you know. So yeah, like, and that wouldn't have happened, you know, without, like, having that online buffer, you know, of being able to be found and then messaged, you know. So I don't know. I think I definitely prefer offline, but I'm very grateful that online is there, you know, for those moments. So 2021, I'm hoping, COVID pending, will be a year filled with firsts. So I'm hoping to be touring my first album, my first tour, in fact, first global tour. Honestly, 2021, I just want to be traveling and sharing my music with anyone who will listen. So I'm really, really proud of what I've been working on, because this year we were in pre-production with my first album, but unfortunately, due to the planet's untimely shutdown, it was put on the back burner for a good couple of months. But we're back on track now. I've got quite a number of tracks that I'm just really excited to put out there, and I'm hoping that if you're watching this, that you guys will like them. It's starting to get dark over here, so while the sun's setting, we've got two answers. First is never, ever, 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 ever stop learning. Music's infinite. You will never understand everything there is to understand about it, but while you are on this path, pursue mastery in what you're passionate about, because that way you will never run out of ideas. You will always internally be able to creatively express yourself freely. And that's what you want. You want that pure, unadulterated freedom when it comes to music, especially when it comes to writing or improvising. You know, you always want to know which chord to play or which note to play over whatever chord. So learn the theory behind your instrument. Secondly, don't stand in your own way. It's so easy to get caught up in the stress and the anxiety of sharing yourself online or self-marketing, because you feel like you're a small fish diving into a very, very big pond. But the cool thing is that you're actually a very unique fish, and you're diving into a big pond, but absolutely none of those other fishes are like you. So allow yourself the freedom to acknowledge that you are you. Nobody else on the planet can create the things that you were born to create. So by that right, you will always have something that you can bring to music's dinner table.